Welcome back to the U Sports Report. We're here to give you all things sports New Mexico the way you like it. Okay, it's time for the college rundown. We've got our man, the dad master, Mr. Tyler Ortega, to give us some UNM Lobo baseball news. Are they continuing to be red hot, Tyler?
The Lobos are still red hot. They took on New Mexico State here in Albuquerque this last week. It was the rubber match between the two teams for the season series as the Aggies won Game 1 6-9. Lobos were able to win Game 2 3-2, and Lobos ultimately won Game 3 by a score of 10-4. That makes the Lobos now 30-13 on the season. They're 16-5, still in first place in the Mountain West Conference. And Andre Vitil had himself a day against New Mexico State. 3 for 4, had 1 RBI, also scored a run. Luis Gonzalez, 1 for 3 at the dish, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs. Jared Hawley also did some work. He was 1 for 4, 2 runs brought in, 2 runs scored. And the big man, Carl Stajuhar, the reigning Mountain West Player of the Week, went 2 for 3. He hit 2 home runs in this game. Just an absolute monster. Had 3 RBIs, scored twice, also drew 2 walks.
Okay.
And head coach Ray Birmingham had this to say about Stajuhar, and I quote, "He is one of the best hitters in the country." I really don't think that's a stretch at all, guys.
All right. So we're looking at possibly a first, second, or third team All-American player?
Absolutely. He should be. He should be. Between him and Chris DeVito, who's currently hurt. He didn't play in that game against New Mexico State, but my sources are telling me the Lobos are just keeping him out, trying to rest him, make sure that he's all geared up for the Mountain West Conference baseball tournament, which is actually going to be taking place right here in Albuquerque. That one, May 25th through the 29th. So, of course, if the Lobos can win that Mountain West Conference tournament, they'll get an automatic bid into the NCAAs.
Okay.
So that is going to be a huge, huge time for the Lobos. And going back to this game against New Mexico State, James Harrington got the win. He was on the bump. That brings his season record to 7-1. He did it in 6 2/3 inning of work, 0 earned runs, only gave up 4 hits, walked 1 hitter. So Lobos just getting it done in all facets. The sticks are there. They're scoring just about 10 points a game, guys.
Okay.
And we're talking baseball.
Okay.
You know, so it's going to be
an impressive team for UNM to have right now.
Yeah, they're going to be really hard to beat as far as their sticks go going forward.
What are the odds that Stodge wins Mountain West Player of the Year?
I wouldn't say just Stodge. I would put it on either him or DeVito, but with my odds, percentage-wise, I'd give it about 70%.
All right.
I give it about 70%, man. These guys are just on fire. They've been doing well all season. Love to see that continue for the Lobos.
You can put your money on that. Okay, so we have some big-time news. Look, last year the Lobos football program really pulled it off. They did well. They made it to the New Mexico Bowl, lost in an exciting game to the Arizona Wildcats. There's big news for the Mountain West Conference as far as football being played on national television so we can all view this up-and-coming conference.
Yes, the Mountain West Conference has unveiled plans now for a new Friday night football schedule broadcast. That's going to be starting this season. The games will be on CBS Sports Network, ESPN, and ESPN2. The first game on that package is going to be September 23rd. As you can see in the top left, Wyoming taking on Eastern Michigan. Lobos will be featured after that at home against Boise State. That one Friday, October 7th.
It's going to be a good game.
Taking place at 7 p.m. There's going to be one Thursday night broadcast, and that is BYU at Boise State. And as I said, these are the Mountain West Conference. So all of these games are going to be conference games except the first game between Wyoming and Eastern Michigan, and of course that Thursday night game between BYU and Boise State. And throughout the networks, the 3 networks, CBS Sports Network, ESPN, ESPN2, there's going to be at least 44 games televised throughout this season. So a great opportunity for the fans at home to get to watch these Mountain West Conference opponents. As you said, the conference is stepping it up. Lobos should be bowl eligible this year.
All right, Lobos bowl eligible. Maybe they can make it past the New Mexico Bowl and play in the January 1st Bowl. We'll see. Speaking of football, you see us sporting the jerseys. It's the NFL draft. So later on today, like we said earlier in the show, the NFL teams are going to pick the first round. Tomorrow's the second and third round. And then Saturday are the final rounds of the draft. But we're going to look at a little bit. We're going to look into our crystal ball and some projections of some players who next season could be on the tip of everyone's tongues come this time of the year. Who do you guys think are some of the top picks for next year's draft who are still in college?
I got 5 of them for you. This is going to be a little watch list because these guys are going to be big names that you're going to be hearing a lot. You've already heard a few of these names, but be ready once fall season comes around and the NCAA football season starts. These 5 guys are going to go high in the NFL draft. Starting first with Leonard Fournette. He's a running back out of LSU. I know you like that.
I even got some stats for you guys if you care to hear them. In 2014, he had 1,034 rushing yards. In 2015, 19 and 53 rushing yards and 18 touchdowns. So Leonard Fournette, I would say, personally, keep him on your watch list.
Yeah, and this guy, no running back has been picked first overall since Kijana Carter back in 1995.
Yes.
So
That is...
Fournette absolutely has a chance to break that streak as he is just a man-child. And even going back to his high school tapes, he looks like he's an NFL player on the field with those kids. So
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette, barring any injuries, definitely going to be a top 5 pick next year.
Okay.
Now,
We got any quarterbacks on the list?
Quarterbacks, we got a few for you. We're going to start off with Clemson's quarterback, Deshaun Watson. Last time we saw him on the football field, he was torching Bama for 478 total yards. He scored 4 touchdowns against that Bama defense. He's 6'2", 205, so he's big. He's sturdy at the quarterback position. He's very accurate throwing deep, and he has a set of legs, makes him very versatile. He's able to escape the pressure and move the chains.
Yeah, he came back. He had an injury-riddled freshman season, showed a lot of promise. Last year, you saw what he did. Runner-up in the Heisman Trophy competition, and he played so outstanding against Alabama and that vaunted defense. He was not the reason why Clemson did not win the national championship. Look for him to be a top 5 pick. Okay, we're looking at another quarterback.
Another
possibly.
quarterback. This one may be a name you may have not heard, Brad Kaya.
Oh, yeah.
He's the quarterback down at Miami for the Hurricanes. He has a great frame. He's 6'4", 220, so he's very durable. He threw for over 3,200 yards last season. He has a ton of skill and arm strength. He's got a new head coach coming in, Mark Richt, formerly of Georgia, so you know they're going to run a pro-style offense, which I think is going to help Kaya tremendously looking forward through next year.
And you look at all the work that Mark Richt did with Aaron Murray when he was the coach at Georgia. Mark Richt is a University of Miami alum. He knows how to work with quarterbacks. They're extremely excited about this kid who's been a starter since he was a true freshman. This guy possibly could be a nice pick. He's probably going to be the first quarterback off of the board next season.
Yeah, well, going back to Mark Richt's track record, he also had Matthew Stafford just a few years ago at Georgia, who was the #1 overall pick to the Detroit Lions. So definitely future looking bright down in southern Florida at Miami. Now, my next guy to keep an eye on, he's a wide receiver out of USC, Southern Cal. His name is Juju Smith-Schuster. Now, this guy, he stepped in as USC's #1 overall wide receiver after Nelson Aguilar left for the Philadelphia Eagles and the NFL. He stepped in just fine. He led the team with 89 catches, 1,400 yards, 10 total touchdowns, and this guy's very durable. He broke his hand against Cal, but he didn't miss any time at all. For a receiver.
Toughness.
That is toughness, and he's a great blend of size, speed, and he also has a lot of toughness. Reminds me a lot of 88 in Dallas.
Okay, yes.
That's a great comparison.
He's a good, excellent player. And the last but not least, the favorite for the Heisman Trophy coming up, record-breaking season. Who is it?
Couldn't leave this guy out. Christian McCaffrey. He dazzled in the Rose Bowl against Iowa, just completely tore him up. He had 18 carries, 172 yards. That amounts to 9.6 yards per carry. He also had 4 catches for 105 yards. Longest catch in that one was a 75-yarder for a touchdown. He's very Wes Welker-esque. He's very small. He has a small frame. He's shifty, but he has great hands, great speed. He's able to get in there between the numbers, make the hard catches, and he's able to get away from the defenders. And like I said, he was just an absolute offensive juggernaut last year. He averaged 6 yards per carry and 8 touchdowns running the ball, 14.5 yards per reception, 5 touchdowns catching the ball. So this guy can just get it done in all facets. He's going to be a great running back. Even look for him in the return game as well. Christian McCaffrey, running back out of Stanford.
Son of former NFL stalwart Ed McCaffrey. This kid is for real. He wears number 5. He reminds me most of a Reggie Bush hybrid. Somebody who can get to the outside, outstanding speed. You put him in the open field, and you better look out. So I think a team possibly in New England could take him and work wonders with this talent. So look out. Hey, if you're a Patriots fan, be excited for what Bill Belichick can do with him. If you're not a Patriots fan, you better hope he does not get his hands on him. All right, that's it for the College Rundown here here at the U Sports Report. Mr. Dabmaster, can we get one real quick? Bam, that's how we do it here at the U Sports Report. More coming up from Mr. Tyler Ortega after these messages.